Part 52. After the divorce, the ex-wife became a creditor. Author, Ahuan. Chapter 515. No matter what you are afraid of, Qian Ling just mentioned this matter not long ago, and now the problem has arisen. Han Qian opened his mouth and instinctively rejected the nursery rhyme. You discussed this matter with Nuan last year. Before she finished speaking, Yan Qingqing's fist fell on Han Qian's shoulder and she shouted angrily. Why should we discuss it with Nuan? What about me? What about me? On the other side of the phone, nursery rhymes were whispered. What does it have to do with Wen Nuan? You two are divorced. If you don't want to, I'll call Lu Shengyu and ask him if he can get the certificate. Han Qian held the phone in one hand, and with the other hand he pressed the troublesome Yan Qingqing hard on his legs, and glared at little Yang Jie who was struggling to drive but still didn't forget to gossip. Drive your car. Little Yang Jie stuck out her tongue, and the nursery rhyme on the other end of the phone whispered back. How do you know I'm driving, Han Qian? My driving skills are not very good. Han Qian asked with a frown. What were you driving for? As soon as he finished speaking, Han Qian felt pain in his thigh, and he was busy grabbing Yan Qingqing's back collar and lifting her up. Empress Yasha glared at Han Qian with her mouth full, and then Tong Yao spoke. I went to find Wen Nuan. She asked me to help analyze the poems and say goodbye and talk. Han Qian, what should I do? My parents insist on bringing my brother over. I have given up. Just as Han Qian was about to speak, Yan Qingqing suddenly acted up and kissed Han Qian hard on the face. Trojan horse. Han Qian was busy pushing Yan Qingqing's head away, and the latter smiled evilly. You two are having an affair. The voice was not quiet, and the person on the phone could hear it clearly. The nursery rhyme he was reciting suddenly shut up, and within 2 seconds, he gritted his teeth and asked. Are you outside? Are you with Mr. Yan or Madam Cai? Former. The call was immediately hung up, followed by a text message. Wait for me at home tonight. Han Qian covered his head and looked helplessly at the roof of the car. There was no need to doubt that he had definitely done nothing good in his previous life. What a misfortune. Good things don't go out, but bad things spread thousands of miles. Everyone knows this terrible thing. At home in the evening, there were plates after plates of exquisite dishes on the dining table, and Tong Yao and Ji Jing were preparing the last 2 dishes in the kitchen. Yan Qingqing was lying on the sofa with pillows in her arms, looking at Yu Shisai with fascinated eyes, who was sitting on the sofa alone and working with a notebook. The short sports shorts exposed her long fair legs. Yan Qingqing was thinking about how she could change her legs like Astro Boy. On the second floor, Han Qian was wearing a pair of underwear and looking for pajamas in front of the closet. He asked while searching. Tong Yao told you. And then you agreed. Wen Nuan stared at Han Qian's butt, held his chin with one hand and frowned. Why don't you have any meat at all? What did you promise? What did you say about nursery rhymes' parents coming? That's right, why are you here watching me change clothes? I can't help you. I'm afraid that the man downstairs will rush up and cause trouble to you. Poems teach me that you shouldn't believe what a man says. She doesn't do anything other than work. What if Tong Yu's parents come and ask us when we will get married? I don't mind getting a wife for nothing. Nuan squinted and smiled. Let me ask Mom if she doesn't mind having more in-laws. This mother is my mother, not my mother-in-law, but Han Qian would be afraid of any mother. She sighed weakly. No wonder when Nuan was confident, she had a ladder that could deal with Zhang Liangji. Han Qian sat on the bed and whispered. What did Wei Tiancheng say? Don't worry about it, the nursery rhyme says. Hey! Are you all here? Where is my husband? My husband, he is back. Wen Nuan didn't say anything. Cai Qinghu had already gone up to the second floor. He opened the door and looked at Nuan Nuan, raised his head and smiled naively. Is your Majesty here? I'd like to say hello to you, and then you can go and stay where you like. Yan Luo opened his arms and looked at Han Qian with burning eyes. My lord, a little farewell is better than a wedding, so hurry up. The next second, Cai King Hu's neck was hugged by warmth and he said angrily. It's time to eat. Wen and Cai King Hu have almost the same figure. They are both long-legged and tall beauties. The difference is that Wen has acute and raised eyebrows, while Lady Cai is a completely cold and mean beauty. Cai King Hu's lips are particularly thin. Why is she back? When Han Qian came downstairs, the dinner downstairs had already begun. Tanjio ate the food one by one with a sad face and said sadly with a grimace. Well, I don't even know what to say. I blame the fat man for always slapping him in the face and always troubling Han Qian. Nuan put a piece of meat in Nursery Rhyme's bowl and said softly. Han Qian is fine. He will help in whatever way he can. Don't go looking for Lu Shengguo. The Lu family has only one face. They are no different from animals behind their backs. Eat more and we will see how thin you become. Tong Yao sighed. Seeing this, Nuan said again. At the worst, you two can live here, and I can just go home or go to Shisai's place to stay for a few days. Let's eat quickly. Tong Yao raised her head and looked at Wen Nuan, then looked at the other girls and sighed softly. Let them stay in a hotel. Cai King Hu suddenly became happy, filled a bowl of soup and placed it in front of Nursery Rhyme, smiling. You've been busy for so long. Let's get something to eat. Just leave it to me to make arrangements when uncle and auntie get here. Anyway, I'm also your husband's secretary. You can come to me next time you encounter trouble. You're welcome. Han Qian sat next to Nuan, knocked on the table lightly, and asked in confusion. It's okay not to ask my opinion, but where are my bowls and chopsticks? After finishing her words, Jing exclaimed and hurriedly went to the kitchen to get the dishes and chopsticks. Yan Qingqing covered her head and sighed weakly. Hey, Aunt Ji must be seriously ill. I'll treat her one day. Yu Shisai said with a flat mouth. Oh, why don't we treat Han Qian first? I don't know whether he is a straight man or a scumbag now, but I feel that Teacher Tong has changed since he came back during the Chinese New Year. He feels more feminine. I wonder if you have noticed it? An idiot like Wen Nuan couldn't tell that others were not interested, which made Tong Yao feel more at ease. I have to admit that Tong Yao's cooking skills are much better than Han Qian's, especially eggplant and green beans. These are the two dishes that Han Qian is least willing to cook. They are too troublesome. Han Qian ate the warm green vegetables without forgetting to add some meat to Aunt Ji, and asked as he ate. When did your parents come over? How did you tell them about your so-called boyfriend? At least you let me pretend. You have to let me know what to pretend, right? Seeing Han Qian agree, Tanjio immediately felt relieved and replied weakly. The boss of the company is young and promising. He is good in the hall and in the kitchen. He is handsome, rich, and dedicated. He treats me very well, but he is very busy and doesn't have much time. Han Qian nodded lightly. You're pretty good at lying, little monster. You're handsome and dedicated, but you tell the truth. Tong Yao immediately glared at Han Qian and gritted his teeth. Do you believe I will bite you to death? After the words fell, Yu Shisai suddenly came closer to Tong Yao. The next second, Tong Yao's cheeks turned red and she pushed Yu Shisai away, saying that she was not serious. Regarding the issue of Yu's poems being inappropriate, Han Qian's attitude has always been supportive, with 4 claws supporting it. Han Qian took a big gulp of rice and finished the bowl. Just as he was about to stand up to serve the rice, Jing had already taken Han Qian's bowl to add rice. I really like Jing, deep in my heart. At this time, Nursery Rhymes whispered. Tell me to come on Sunday or Monday. Han Qian tilted his head, thought for a while, and said softly. I still have 1,500 yuan in pocket money that Mr. Yan gave me. You don't need to spend money, I've prepared everything. Mr. Yan doesn't want me to skip work. I will plead with Ching Ching for you. Oh, no help. Okay then, I'll figure it out myself. The sudden change made several girls come to their senses. The Han Qian in their impression was not so mean. Nuan frowned. Han Qian, why are you like this? What happened to you, Teacher Tong? If you hadn't lent money to Teacher Tong, this wouldn't have happened. Han Qian turned around and said coldly. I helped and got guilty? Really? I'm tired, I'm going to sleep first. Han Qian left, and Tong Yao lowered her head silently. She also knew that one step was too much. Han Qian knew many people in the city. If this matter spread to Nuan's parents, Han Qian would be in trouble. Nursery rhymes come to mind. The atmosphere at the dinner table became a little awkward. Yu Shisai took Tong Yao's hand and whispered to Nuan. Go and persuade Han Qian. Hearing this, Nuan laughed at himself. Persuading me, my ex-husband. Which of you has the guts to do it? I don't dare. Don't dare? These two words stunned several girls present. For when Nuan to say that she dared not to Han Qian was not something that could be said by just touching the lips. When Nuan's position with her parents-in-law is unshakable, and Han Qian is even more humble and doting on her. Now she doesn't dare? Cai King Hu and Yan Qingqing looked at each other, and the former said. Will Han Qian quarrel with you? Nuan shook his head. If you don't make any noise, I'll either stop talking or try to reason with you and brainwash you. Anyway, I won't go. If not, I'll find someone in the company or ask Suliang to help. No, Wen Juiying, you don't know that Suliang is getting married on Saturday. After hearing what you said, I don't dare to go upstairs. What I'm most afraid of is being reasonable. The main thing is that I won't be unreasonable. Secretary Cai, go ahead. No, I don't even dare. When I tell my husband, he always says one thing and I don't. What I'm most afraid of is not saying anything. The three giants all shrugged, Yu Shisai was even more afraid, and the girls all lowered their heads. Yan Qingqing said to go to the company to find a senior executive to help. Yu Shisai immediately said. Forget it. I chose Han Qian because Han Qian is really not lewd and won't say that she wants to please her parents just to get nursery rhymes. I'm also worried that nursery rhymes will be entangled. Yan Qingqing clicked, she became a little irritated and said angrily. Then what should I do? What do you think we should do? Nursery rhyme sighed. I'll tell them tomorrow that I broke up with my boyfriend. No. Yan Qingqing and Wen Nuan said in unison, and Cai King Hu spoke immediately. Your parents should think that your money was given by your boyfriend. Now that they broke up suddenly, they will think that they have dragged you down. What if they get angry and blame themselves? Don't worry, there will be a way, or tell them my boyfriend is on a business trip. I will be your secretary for 2 days. If there are any problems, we can just solve them. Ji Jing, who had been silent until now, stood up and walked towards the second floor. I'll go. I heard that there is a flood in Zhengzhou. I wonder if there are any friends in Zhengzhou pay attention to safety. After the divorce, the ex-wife became a creditor. Author, A Huan. Chapter 516. Ji Jing opened the door and walked into the bedroom. Looking at her eldest nephew lying on the tatami in a daze, she smiled, walked up and lay next to Han Qian, stretched out her hand and pinched the nose of her beloved man, and whispered. I know you're not angry, and I want to agree, but I'm worried that we girls will have random thoughts, right? The two people lay on the bed and looked at each other face to face. Han Qian sighed feebly. This matter is very troublesome to begin with. It would be a lie to say that I won't help, but I'm a little confused about this, Aunt Ji. You asked me to deceive Lin Zongheng. I can deceive the simple old man, Ji Jing pillowed her arm, stretched out her hand to touch Han Qian's face, and said softly. How can you lie? It was just a nursery rhyme that you helped. As for this so-called boyfriend, you have so many girls around you and you don't mind having one more. Seeing the naughty look in Aunt Ji's eyes, Han Qian reached out and pinched Ji Jing's cheek and smiled. When did you become so naughty? What do you mean you don't mind having one more? Ji Jing smiled sweetly and said softly. Teacher Tong is a very nice person. He is harsh on you just to prevent other girls from thinking too much. You are a very warm-hearted girl. Just help her. You will not be too tired. We will also help. In case Tong teacher is anxious, you are at fault for being unkind to others. I feel like you're threatening me. Well, you guessed it right. They were chatting just now. Tong Yao's parents will arrive on Saturday afternoon. Suliang's wedding will be almost over by then. Be good. My eldest nephew is the best. Be obedient. It's called saving a life. Is better than building a 7-level pagoda. Okay, my Aunt Ji, if you keep talking for a while, I will go to the west to get Buddhist scriptures. Did you agree? Well, the season is about to change. Let me go and show you your clothes. I see that your shirts are all worn as pajamas. Oh, when will uncle and aunt come over? I haven't asked yet, it's all Nuan who asked. Auntie sent me a text message the day before yesterday. My mother? What did you say? I won't tell you, just go downstairs. Aunt Ji pinched Han Qian's face again, then got up and went downstairs. Several girls downstairs were waiting for Ji Jing's good news. Seeing Ji Jing's calm look, they breathed a sigh of relief. Yan Qingqing said softly. He didn't lose his temper. Ji Jing shook her head, and then Yan Qingqing got up and went upstairs. After a few minutes, she came back with a gloomy face. It seemed that she was said something by Han Qian. Anyway, the matter was agreed, which was considered to be a problem solved, and then several girls began to gather around nursery rhyme to inquire about her affairs, and they all gossiped like parrots. 11 p.m. Nuan glared at Yan Qingqing and Cai Qinghu. One of the two women was lying on the sofa watching TV, and the other was standing in front of the mirror wiping her wet hair. By this time, Ji Jing and the others had already gone home. The two of them seemed to have no intention of leaving. When Nuan took a deep breath. Although Go De Peo has been brought to justice, you two should go back as soon as possible. Yan Qingqing glanced at Wen Nuan and ignored it. Cai Qinghu glanced at the night view outside the window and said innocently. Really? It's so dark that a pretty girl like me wouldn't dare to go alone. Qingqing, are we on our way? Not going well. Then I'll just have to stay one night. This seems to be Cai Qinghu's first time staying overnight, and it doesn't seem to be the case. Wen Nuan has no impression, but she really doesn't want this idiot to stay here. Wen Nuan raises an eyebrow and looks at Cai Qinghu and asks. Don't you have a gun? What are you afraid of? Cai Qinghu wiped his hair and sat next to Wen Nuan, squinting and smiling. Little Princess Nuan, let me educate you on the rules of holding a gun. I am not a policeman. Holding a gun requires approval from above and has accurate usage time and tasks. I just went to the capital and I am not allowed to carry a gun, so I don't have one now. So I won't go home. Wen Nuan looked at Cai Qinghu with suspicious eyes. She always felt that Cai Qinghu was lying to her, but she really didn't understand this. Slowly, Nuan Wen lowered her gaze on Yan Qingqing and said stiffly. You. Send her. I don't go. A perfect triangle relationship. Nuan Wen really had nothing to do with Yan Qingqing. The three of them were in a stalemate for 20 minutes. When Nuan and Cai Qinghu escaped, Yan Qingqing got up and ran upstairs. Seeing this, Nuan Wen got up and chased after her. Cai Qinghu followed closely. Thereafter, Yan Qingqing walked straight into the warm room, got into bed, turned to the two people at the door, patted the bed, and said with a smile, "Are you both sleepy too? Come, let's go together." Nuan frowned and looked at the vixen on the bed. Would she be so honest? But was she really so honest that she didn't go to Han Qian's room? At this time, Yan Qingqing continued. Huh? Cai Qinghu, why are you joining in the fun? Is this a warm room? Didn't you say you sleep in the guest room? Cai Qinghu, who had always been very straightforward about Yan Qingqing, rolled his eyes at the fox and said with disdain. Who knows what you're going to do? You're all adults now, so pretending to be too white and like a lotus flower is boring. Yan Qingqing said oh, then got out of bed, put on her shoes, stood up and said. I'm going to sleep with Han Qian, you two, don't stop me. Nuan curled his lips in disdain. Stop. You're thinking too much. I'm going to sleep with Han Qian too. Yan Qingqing also has her own way of dealing with Nuan. Now in front of Nuan, she narrowed her eyes and smiled. Warm, the human body has a wonderful symmetry point, guess where it is? Wen felt that Yan Qingqing had not held in her fart well, so she snorted and ignored it, but Yan Qingqing put her two index fingers on Wen's small earlobes, and then slowly lowered them, when Wen felt something was wrong. It's too late. The two steamed dumplings were poked, and Yan Qingqing laughed unscrupulously. Let's go to Han Qian's room and sleep together. My sister wants you to learn techniques. When Nuan hesitated a little. She couldn't do anything to Yan Qingqing, but Cai Qinghu had it. Yan Qingqing curled her lips and said disdainfully. The dogs that bark the most ferociously are the ones that don't bite. Yan Qingqing, just talk about it. I'll help you stop Nuan and see how you teach techniques. Just as they were about to leave, when Nuan and Cai Qinghu stood on the edge of the tatami bed and looked at Yan Qingqing. She panicked. What Cai Qinghu said was absolutely right. If you let her brag, she could do it even in a small way, but she couldn't really do it this time. He couldn't admit defeat in his heart or mouth, so he lifted Han Qian's quilt and got into the bed, muttering softly. I'm not feeling well. I'll hold my general to sleep until next time. Remember to close the door when you go out. When Han Qian opened her eyes, she was a little panicked, and her arms were held by Wen Nuan and Yan Qingqing respectively. He didn't dare to move, not sure who was the one who came first. When he was at a loss and looking at the roof, Cai Qinghu's pretty face appeared in front of him. The girl put her hands behind her back and smiled playfully. The blessing of all people. Han Qian closed his eyes and sighed. Oh, I prefer family happiness. I won't live long like this. As soon as he finished speaking, his lips became cold, and a piece of ice fell smoothly into his mouth. Han Qian's eyes widened instantly, and Cai Qinghu narrowed his eyes and smiled. Good morning, Mr. Prime Minister. Cai Qinghu left, in a happy mood, with a little fox smile on his face when he closed the door. At this moment, Han Qian didn't know that the two girls beside him had woken up a long time ago, with murderous intent in their beautiful eyes. Yan Qingqing asked in a cold voice. Is it cool? Is it exciting? Nuan followed. How far have you and Cai Qinghu developed? Have you slept together? Han Qian closed his eyes and pretended to sleep. He wanted to die more than pretending to sleep. What a sin. There are still 2 days to go before I am discharged from the hospital, so I will probably have time to make up for it. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the divorce, the ex-wife became a creditor. Author, Ahuan. Chapter 517. Good morning, Mr. Prime Minister. Secretary I want to eat ice cubes. During breakfast, Wen Nuan and Yan Qingqing teased Han Jian and Cai Qinghu in a strange way. The former pretended that nothing happened and drank porridge. As for Cai Qinghu, who can be as thick-skinned as her? He immediately stood up and walked to the refrigerator and said calmly, "You two don't have to be curious, my husband-in-law, and I will demonstrate it to you." The words came out and Han Jian almost choked to death on a mouthful of porridge. He had gone through so many hardships. If he choked to death on a mouthful of porridge, it would be estimated that half of the people in the city would wake up laughing. This evil is finally dead. Especially the two old guys Cheng Jin and Lin Ment, not to mention Cheng Jin. He will feel sorry for Han Jian's death, and at the same time, the pressure will be reduced a lot. Some people may not believe Feng Lun's words, but Han Jian, that's not necessarily the case. The people behind him have the ability to incite public opinion among the people in the city. As for Lin Ment, there is no need to mention this old guy. Yan Qingqing snorted coldly, curled her lips and sneered. What's the point of ice cubes? Crystal love, desert storm is the excitement. Han Jian and Wen Nuan were confused. Cai Qinghu, who was holding the refrigerator door with one hand, narrowed his eyes and smiled. Jelly, I've already tried it, right sir? As for this popping candy, I think it will be very interesting. Yan Qingqing's face turned dark instantly, her eyes looked at Cai Qinghu with murderous intent, and she said coldly, "You'd better be lying, otherwise you won't get any good results." Cai Qinghu waved his hand indifferently. Okay, we all know each other's weight. I am not lower than you, and you are not higher than me. We are only half a pound, and no one can do anything to anyone. I am very curious, Yan Qingqing, how do you know this? How many? How you know, that's how I know. The two women were facing each other tit for tat. Wen Nuan held her chopsticks in her mouth and her eyes were filled with curiosity, and she asked confusedly, Han Jian, what are they talking about crystals, desert, jelly, and popping candies? They stopped eating them when they were 7 or 8 years old. They are so childish. There was really no way to explain to Nuan what crystal love and desert storm were. Han Jian sighed, stretched out his hand and patted Nuan's shoulder gently, saying softly, "They are sick. Don't play with them. Go to work when you are full. Just keep everything Wei Tiancheng gives you. Wei Tiancheng asks Zhao Shanying to find you. You can treat her as a sister." She wanted to say that she was pretending to be enthusiastic even though she didn't like it, and it was best for the Lin family to see. Nuan seemed to understand something, curled his lips and whispered, "Han Jian, you are so insidious." Han Jian shrugged. "Let's talk to each other. Wei Tiancheng doesn't know how to explain it. I'm full. Mr. Yan, I'm asking for leave. Suliang is getting married recently. He has no friends here, so I'm going to help him." After saying this, Yan Qingqing suddenly pretended to look very pitiful and spoke pitifully in a low voice. "I said that you are not allowed to take leave. Is it useful?" "Have." There was no hesitation in Han Jian's answer, and there was no cunning in his eyes. Yan Qingqing sighed when she saw this. "Hey. It's going to rain, and my mother wants to get married. Those who should go, and those who should stay. You'd better go. I can't imprison you in my gentle cage like warmth." Han Jian stood up and left, and a warm voice sounded. "Yan Hu, tell me clearly, who imprisoned Han Jian? We are husband and wife." We have a marriage certificate and a divorce certificate. What's wrong with your shameless mistress? I'm the mistress? Nuan, please speak nicely. Even if I am the mistress, you are not really a royal empress. Isn't there a popular saying in the past few years? As long as I am here, you can only be a concubine. As for you two now? She's not even a bed-warming girl, she's like two mascots, so big and dangling. Bed-warmer girl? Haha, warmer, do you need to cut the hems of your pants when you buy them? Cai King Hu suddenly spoke, and Nuan did not respond to the question. He frowned and shook his head. No, if you cut off the trousers, they become cropped trousers, huh? Yan Hu, why haven't I seen you wearing trousers? You wear skirts all year round. My mother-in-law said that you will be in a wheelchair when you get old. Of. Height has always been an indelible pain for Yan Qingqing. She stood up with a cold snort. I didn't sleep well last night to prevent some idiot. I went to rest first. Don't disturb me. I really know how to hit people. At this time, Han Qian had already gone downstairs and was getting ready to go out. Seeing this, Cai King Hu also lost his mood for work and stretched himself. I'm going to catch up on my sleep too. Nuan, you go to work. Remember to buy groceries when you come back. I want to eat crayfish at night. I think you two look like lobsters, don't you? Don't you two have a home? This is my and Han Qian's home, and the mistress and mistress come to provoke me. Do you think I have a good temper? The main reason for having a bad temper is that the person is pretty. You don't need to tell me, I know I'm beautiful. People are kind. I don't object to this. Gentle, virtuous, beautiful, generous, knowledgeable, and warm lady, please buy some crayfish to eat. Don't make the house dirty. In the end, Cai King Hu still couldn't resist Cai King Hu's praise, and he was still a little happy in his heart. Hearing the sound of Nuan going out and closing the door, Cai King Hu lay on the bed and sighed, how could there be such a simple and silly girl? This is how he met Han Qian is such a guy who has no greed or ambition, otherwise. This girl is probably still counting the money after being sold. When Nuan received a call from Zhao Shanying when she went out, asking if Nuan had time to go shopping together. Recently, a brand had launched a new product, including several sets of men's products that were good. When Nuan smiled and agreed to Zhao Shanying's invitation. In this city, she was not worried that she would be hurt by people in this circle. Li Jinhan let it go. If something happened to his niece in this restless city, no one sitting here would be innocent. What's more, there are parents like Li Jinhe and Wenxi. After hanging up the phone, Zhao Shanying turned to look at Wei Tiancheng, who was standing naked on the balcony. There was a ferocious centipede on his back. This tattoo was used to cover up the scar on his back. Only Zhao Shanying knew the origin of this scar. Which is also the reason why she let Wei Tiancheng and Zhang Miao get together. Because without Wei Tiancheng at that time, Zhao Shanying would have died under Guan Dagu's knife. With his thoughts moved away, Zhao Shanying looked at Centipede and was slightly lost in thought. After a moment, Wei Tiancheng turned around and smiled. What did you say? Zhao Shanying came back to her senses and said softly. I didn't refuse, I was very enthusiastic. Oh, that should be Han Qian's intentional warning. Just keep in touch with Nuan normally. The Lin family's legs may not be as thick as the Wen family's. Just give what is due. Don't be too enthusiastic or too humble. Zhao Shanying nodded. I see. Wei Tiancheng turned his head to look at concubine Miao sitting on the sofa, and said softly. How's your contact with nursery rhymes going? Mentioning the nursery rhymes, Zhang Miao's face looked a little strange and a little defeated. She took a deep breath and sighed, unable to speak. I contacted her, but she just said she didn't know her and hung up the phone. When I called her again, Wei Tiancheng frowned and said in a deep voice. You what? My number has been blocked. This nursery rhyme must know me. Didn't we party together years ago? You should figure out your own solution to this nursery rhyme, it is said. I also heard that the woman nursery rhyme is strangely cruel. She humiliated Lu Shengyu in front of Lu Shengge and wanted to crawl into the ground. The important thing is this Lu Shengyu also fell in love with nursery rhymes, and now she is a little crazy. There is nothing I can do about this monster-like thing. The three people in the bedroom looked at each other and sighed feebly. This nursery rhyme is very likely to become a variable. Ning Tian has to go to the hospital, it's so annoying. After the divorce, the ex-wife became a creditor. Author, Ahuan. Chapter 518. Brother. I'll call you brother, and you tell me what the relationship between Han Qian and Tan Jiao is. Have no idea. Then what's going on with Sister Ye? Didn't you agree to give her to me as an assistant after she is no longer useful? Why is she going to Han Qian's place now? I gave it to Han Qian, but he took it away. Yan Qingqing is no longer under your control. You have cultivated so many canaries, aren't you just to support the market and give gifts? Now they have been taken away by Han Qian, can you do it? You are talking nonsense. I will let you lie in bed and give birth to children for the rest of your life. Do you believe it? Is this how you treat your cute and charming brother? Your mother has pros and cons, can you please stop annoying me? Toot toot toot. Lu Shengyu hung up the phone, slumped on the sofa and looked at the chandelier on the dome, murmuring softly. I'm sick again, Mom, it's impossible for my brother to have a baby, and his brain can't be cured? When I get anxious, another Lu Shengge appears. I'm so tired. The old lady of the Lu family looked at a family photo hanging on the wall and sighed softly. How to treat genetic diseases. He didn't suffer from schizophrenia because of the car accident. This has a lot to do with your dad. Don't mention him, Mom. The most correct choice you made in this life was to have our two excellent sons. The worst decision was to fall in love with that lunatic, and the most correct thing I did in my life was to. He is so angry, when do you think I should go find my brother? The old lady ignored Lu Shengyu. She was right. Her two sons were her greatest pride in her life. Shengge was strong, while Shengyu was more filial. The two brothers were quarrelsome on the surface, but in reality they were very close. Peacefulness. Peace and joy. Just be safe and sound. This is the biggest wish in any mother's heart, except of course Jijing's parents. This is really not a thing. At this moment, Jijing really received a call from her mother. No money is needed this time, I know better. Daughter, my mother has no choice but to make this call to you. Your brother is not young anymore, and there is no one from all over the country to help you find a matchmaker. See if you can let your brother go to work in your company and have sex with you. Just the same job. Jijing closed her eyes, took a deep breath, gritted her teeth and replied in a low voice. Do you have the same job as me? I am a graduate of 211 University. How can my brother come to work in the company when he didn't pass high school? I can't help him. Then you give your current job to your brother. Anyway, you have found a man, and you don't care about the money. Why are you still working? After hearing this, Jijing really wanted to throw her phone down and growled in a low voice. I live just for Jijing? What does it have to do with me whether Han Qian has money or not? He is already married. Then you become a mistress? Isn't the purpose of being a mistress just to spend money? I don't care. Anyway, your brother has no job now and can't get a wife. If you don't care, I will go to court to sue you. You are beyond comprehension. This time Jijing became stronger. She hung up the phone and put her arms on the desk to cover her forehead. She had a headache and wondered if she had to leave this world to become cleaner. Her heart was in a mess. Jing was worried that her family would come over to make trouble again. Han Qian was already very busy. She really didn't want to cause trouble to Han Qian. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath. Jing picked up her clothes and put them down. After leaving the building, some things would definitely not be explained clearly if I didn't talk to them face to face. I also thought about going back to find a few wise people in the village and officials in the village to settle the relationship at once. Jing does not want her life to be interfered with. She will go crazy if this continues. Jing has obviously felt that she is different from normal people. She does not like to make friends, does not like crowded places, and does not like to be touched by others. Touching, even if it is a close friend. When her parents and brother come over, they will definitely trouble Han Qian again. Jing doesn't want to cause trouble to Han Qian. She likes Han Qian, but she can't trouble Han Qian. The white BMW sped away. If possible, Jing would rather give this car to them, just hoping that she would not be disturbed. Maybe this would be said to be unfilial, but the filial piety they wanted, Jing could not do. Han Qian was lying in the car, with his feet on the console, smoking a cigarette, closing his eyes and wailing. "Brother Guan, what do you think I should do? This life is too sad. Do I have a pursuer in front of me and an interceptor in the back?" Guan Degu was struggling with a piece of hamburger and replied vaguely. "I don't know. I've never seen dramas like yours. It's a traditional virtue to have multiple wives. Don't fart, have you watched the TV series? Now we are monogamous. In ancient times, there was monogamy, right? 3 wives and 4 concubines were only allowed to those who were famous. Businessmen spent money to buy fame, and officials had status. Isn't it the same now? Wei Tiancheng has 2 daughters-in-law, and Lu Guangming's harem. The group is quite large, and the women get along very harmoniously. Monogamy restricts the poor. I am so stupid. My wife knows that I have a little one and she doesn't say anything. If we quarrel, I throw money at her. Like LV bags. Like Chanel perfume. Just buy. After finishing his words, he drained the Coke in the cup and continued with a burp. But you are different, Brother Han. The girls around you are all buying things for you. I have never heard of this kind of thing in my life. Several beautiful flowers in the city are planted in your flower pot. When will it bear fruit? I want to do a grafting operation now. Brother Han, are you frigid? My master gave you that good drink last time, and now Ji Xiao promises to be a young girl. But why do I feel like you don't look like a virgin anymore? Can you change your focus? Well, the car Ji Xiao promised just passed by, and it seems to be on the highway in this direction. Shut up, the big dog. You should tell the truth earlier next time. Jing drives on the highway. Where is this going? Han Qian started the car and followed closely. Fortunately, the car he was driving was not the Panamera, but Tu Xiao's Mercedes-Benz. Guan Degu was half lying on the passenger seat, fiddling with his cell phone, and said calmly, "Should I ask someone to stop Ji Ziran? What kind of problem did you encounter in this hurry? Can you shut up your crow mouth? I also have a small promise. You can watch less TV series. Rongsheng concubine. Am I the emperor? What if I'm going to take the throne? Do you believe I kicked you off? Brother Han, I've been practicing recently, and you may not be able to beat me. Also, you're moving at such a snail's pace that we can't even see the BMW's tail lights. I'm afraid I'll be caught if I follow too close. Stalking? I'm good at this. I'm also first-rate at kidnapping. Your mother." In the end, people were replaced. Han Qian was really driving too slowly. Guan Degu started the car and started to catch up. There was always a car between him and Jing's BMW. He could see the shadow of the BMW, but the BMW looked at him. Not this Mercedes. Brother Han, my boss's car is good, right? It's a sure thing. More than 2 million. Well, I see MRSCAI drove a new supercar yesterday. If you have a chance, please let me touch it. Just touch it. Suliang will get married in a few days, and no one will drive Jianwan's McLaren. Then I want to go home and take a shower and spray some perfume. Guandegu, do you want to fight? To be honest, I really want to compare notes. Don't lose track, I'll give you a chance. After the divorce, the ex-wife became a creditor. Author, Ahuan. Chapter 519. No, Brother Han, we both seem to have been discovered. What the hell do you have to say? Ji Jing is calling me now. Don't answer it. If you answer it, it will be completely exposed. Logically speaking, Ji Xiaozheng shouldn't know my master's car. What's going on? Why don't you answer the phone and ask? Will you accept it or not? Goodbye, what if you are going to have a tryst with other gentlemen? Stop the car, let's go down and have a fight first. When Han Qian and Guandegu get together, their IQs will drop rapidly, and they will be not much different from Guan Yunbiao. Guan Yunbiao really wanted to stop, but suddenly slowed down, causing a burst of sirens from the vehicles behind him, and the two guys opened the windows at the same time to face the car behind them. He started to curse, and the next second the window of the Volkswagen behind him was opened. The driver put on his policeman's hat, and took out the siren and placed it on the roof of the car. Seeing this, the two guys took out cigarettes from their pockets at the same time, smiled innocently to show their goodwill, and then started the car and started speeding. The siren of the car behind them sounded. Han Qian suddenly panicked and shouted angrily at Guandegu. You are sick, why are you scolding others back? If I had known, I would have driven. You drive. Your driver's license has been suspended for 6 months. About 6 months. The two guys were stopped on the highway and interrogated. A controlled knife was found on Guandegu's body. Han Qian was so angry that he gritted his teeth and roared. Why do you think I bring this thing with me? Is it useless? All the guys I met have guns. Damn, I would have known better to go back and get it, ugh. Guan Yunbiao hurriedly covered Han Qian's mouth. The policeman outside the car held Guandegu's driver's license in his hand, put his other hand on his waist, tilted his head and shouted into the intercom. Please locate my location. The two people here have serious suspicions. In the end, Han Qian called Cheng Jin and was released. Now he didn't have to worry about being discovered by Ji Jing. The BMW's tail lights were really invisible. In the service area, two guys were smoking cigarettes and looking out the window. What to do? The person has been lost. Thinking of this, Han Qian turned around and slapped Guandegu on the back of the head, saying angrily. It's all your fault. Guandegu turned his head and glared at Han Qian, and said angrily. Get out of here. If you hadn't been nagging us all the way, would we have been able to follow you? What to do now? Why don't you call and ask? I guess with Ji Xiao's character, he won't lie to you. What if you lie to me? As if I lied to you and you could react. There was no other choice but to call Ji Jing. The phone was quickly connected and she asked in a calm voice. Aunt Ji, where have you been? I didn't see you when I went to the company. He didn't even draft a lie. Guan Yunbiao curled his lips when he heard it. Han Qian clenched his fist and punched the guy. Guandegu shouted in a weird voice. Beautiful Ji, Han Qian would have killed me if you hadn't shown up. You have a heart like a bodhisattva and just save me. Ji Jing parked the car on the side of the road, took a deep breath, and said softly. Eldest nephew, I have some personal matters to deal with. I will go back tomorrow. Tomorrow? Where are you going tonight? After hearing what Han Qian said, Guan Dagu said, "Tisk, tisk, tisk, you're asking me where I went at night. Can I go to your bed?" Han Qian opened the door and got out of the car. He was too lazy to talk to this guy and kept asking questions on the phone. The continuous questions made Ji Jing unable to hold back and choked up. "Han Qian, my mother called me again. This time she didn't want any money. She said she wanted my brother to come to work at Glory, otherwise he would go to court to sue me." It was these two rice bugs that came to suck Ji Jing's blood again. Han Qian closed his eyes and took a deep breath. "I'm at the service area of the expressway. You drive back now and we can discuss anything you have to do." What are you doing?" "I'm letting you come back now, so be happy." "Good." Ji Jing finally gave up and fought, which saved her life and recognized Han Qian for the rest of her life. The white BMW drove slowly into the service area. Han Qian stepped forward and knocked on the window. He looked at Ji Jing's dumbfounded figure inside and her cell phone that kept ringing. This was perhaps the most difficult thing for Ji Jing. As long as she didn't agree, the phone would be called non-stop. She didn't dare to turn off the phone or block her, because if she couldn't be contacted, the three rice bugs at home would come to the company to look for her. Han Qian walked around the car and turned on the passenger door. When he reached for the phone, Ji Jing held her wrist, biting her lip and shaking her head at Han Qian. "They've started talking nonsense, nephew. Don't worry, I won't quarrel with them." While talking, Han Qian held Ji Jing's hand. Aunt Ji did not resist and let her hand be held. At this time, Han Qian suddenly saw an oversized rabbit on the back seat. This was the last time the two of them. Han Qian snatched it back for her when they went to the movies. Looking in the rearview mirror, I answered the phone. "I'm Han Qian." There was no movement on the other side of the phone, and when Han Qian was about to hang up, Ji Jing's mother's voice came over. "My dear, Master Han, let her stay with you quietly." Han Qian's voice was very low, and the other party on the phone was silent again. This time, Han Qian spoke first without waiting for the other party to speak. "I remember I told you that after giving you money, Ji Jing has nothing to do with you, right? Didn't I give you enough money last time? Didn't you mean to buy a house for your precious son? This, young Master Han, let me make it clear to you directly. The money for the house has been spent. The tens of thousands of dollars you gave me to raise such a big daughter are not enough. Now we don't need any money. Let Ji if Jing gives her job to my son, Ji Jing will be yours, and I will treat it as if I don't have this daughter." "Oh, you run the company from home? I'll give it to you if I say it. But I can really make the decision in this position. What is your son's education level? Junior, middle school, junior college?" Jing works as a manager in the planning department. He needs a bachelor's degree or above. Your son is not educated enough. Give him your phone number and I'll ask him a few questions. As long as he can answer them. The person on the phone started to hesitate again, and Han Qian said coldly after hearing this. "Now Ji Jing gives you a lot of money in a month, right? 3 living people were kicked in the head by a donkey? 80,000 yuan was spent in half a year? Does your son have a sexually transmitted disease or do you have cancer? If you get cancer just say, I'll give you money to treat your illness, and if you don't want to use your limbs, just say so. 100,000 for each hand, you two can raise more than 800,000 for your son. Can you sell it? If we can trade this afternoon, I will ask Guan Yunbiao to take people there now." The other side of the phone became silent. I thought that people from the upper class didn't regard money as money, so they called Ji Jing to force her to give her whatever she wanted as long as her daughter cried. But why does this Han Qian act like a gangster? No matter whether the daughter is a mistress, or a toy, she is still half a mother-in-law. This family was also ready to smash the jar and said angrily, "Give me the money, or I will sue Jijing and make trouble in the company." "Go to the company." "Oh, you go, you can go as you like. If I can't protect Jijing, I will take your surname. It's so shameless. You don't want the 3,000 yuan a month, do you?" "What's 3,000 yuan? This little bitch Jijing hasn't given me any money since we got home." Han Qian turned around and glanced at Jijing. Jijing took Han Qian's phone and opened the transfer records. Every month, there were screenshots of Jijing's transfers, and they were not 3,000, but 4,000. Han Qian frowned when he saw this, and then said, "You go to the bank to check the bank statement and see where the money went. I'm telling you one last time. If you are harassing Jijing, I don't care about your parents. I will break your son's legs and throw him in jail. Go inside, damn it, it's useless to talk to people like you. Jijing, tell me where your hometown is. I'll ask people from the local police station and court to go there and cut off the relationship as soon as possible. He'll give you the 3,000 yuan. If I don't give it to you, then you will be honest." The other party panicked, but Han Qian hung up the phone directly, put his arm around Jijing's shoulders, slapped her on the head, and said angrily, "Tell me first if something happens in the future. Children and monsters know how to ask me for help, but you don't know? Drive. Go back. If you are absent from work, half a day's salary will be deducted, and you will be punished by treating me and Guan Daegu to dinner. What are you eating? An hui ban mian, you must add 2 eggs. I'll fix it first. If you have any typos, tell me and I'll correct them." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the divorce, the ex-wife became a creditor. Author, Ahuan. Chapter 520. Suliang's marriage is approaching, and there are a lot of messy things on Han Qian's side. Jijing's side has just ended, and something happened on Li Er's side. This guy has a girlfriend. I heard Nuan said that she plays music and hip-hop, and brings when the girl came home, she was beaten out by Li Jinhai with the butt of a gun. If her second aunt hadn't stopped her, Li Duoli might have died young at home. Li Duoli was okay, Li Jinhai had difficulty breathing and was sent to the hospital. When Han Qian and Wen arrived, Li Jinhai was sitting on the hospital bed and receiving an 4-drip. The old man stared with angry eyes, and Wen was frightened and hid behind Han Qian, holding onto his hands. Han Qian's shoulder whispered, "Second uncle, don't be angry." It was okay not to say that, but after saying that, Li Jinhai pulled open the infusion tube and threw out the needle on the back of his hand. Blood instantly covered the entire back of his hand, but Li Jinhai didn't care and stood up and shouted to his second aunt, "Old Ding, where's my gun? Give me the gun, little bastard, and I'll kill him." This little bit of blood was everywhere. Han Qian hurriedly stepped forward to hold Li Jinhai down and said repeatedly, second uncle, calm down, calm down. I heard from my second aunt that it's because Li Er is having affairs with his partner. He's not too young anymore, so he can be with the right person. If he has a partner, he can be more controlled." Li Jinhai shook off Han Qian's arm and looked at Han Qian coldly. "Have you ever been a father?" "You haven't." "I have. You can't understand my feelings. I support dating and falling in love. Not to mention those who are 19 or 20, even those who are 15 or 16. Are you a man? I like to be beautiful. The girl is normal, it has nothing to do with her age. Han Qian, my second uncle thinks this is right /. Yes, that's right. Then why are you angry?" Han Qian didn't understand why he was so angry. When he asked, Li Jinhai became furious and trembled with anger. Angry? I want to vent my anger on this little brat. Didn't you two see that the girl he brought back was wearing short-sleeved shorts and had dragons and phoenixes tattooed on her arms? What I hate most in my life is tattoos. Han Qian can understand this. Li Jinhai has been a policeman for so many years and has come into contact with many criminals. He definitely doesn't like people with tattoos, but Han Qian is not very repulsive to people with tattoos. Certainly. Han Qian also doesn't like the kind of shirtless Han Qian covered with tattoos in the summer. The social atmosphere is too strong. The angry little old man continued angrily. Tattoos are okay. It's not an exaggeration to say that this thing is a hobby, but you should cover it up. Even if you cover half of it, I still consider your child to be polite. Tattoos aside, that hair is combed into dozens of pigtails. Red, green, blue, and white, just like the toad skill Wang Ke practiced was poisoned. His eyes seemed to have been beaten by someone. They were so black that I could feel the wind when the eyelashes fluttered. Blow, how do you want me to accept it? Hey. Wen Nuan curled his lips in a somewhat unacceptable manner, and Han Qian was also a little embarrassed and said softly. Maybe he's young and ignorant. You're ignorant? Don't you have parents? Don't you have parents? My first daughter-in-law, Li Jinhai, is a foreign girl. I won't say anything else. Why does my second daughter-in-law do this? Where should I put my face? You not only are the two children in my uncle's family promising, but their son-in-law and daughter-in-law are both yeomanmen servants, and they can do anything about it. Let alone your mother-in-law, who has a son-in-law like you. People in the province are talking about you, Han Qian. I'm a smart person. It's obvious that the yeomanmen know that you are playing tricks on them, but there is nothing you can do about it. Why can Cai King Hu not go to work and play with you? Isn't this just the yeomanmen trying to stabilize you? What about me? What about me? Me. Woolen cloth. The old man became more and more angry as he talked. Han Qian and Wen Nuan really didn't know how to persuade him. Yes. They are not parents and cannot understand the relationship between them, but Han Qian can understand that the three people in the Li family are indifferent, but their desire to compare is not weak at all. The mother-in-law always praises her son-in-law when playing cards. Not to mention my uncle Li Jinhan. Compared with this, the two children in Li Jinhai's family are really hopeless. No one can bear this. It was useless to persuade Li Jinhai now. Han Qian stood up and sighed. You, ask the nurse to continue the injection. I'll go talk to Li Er about this. Second uncle, children, and grandchildren will have their own blessings. Be open-minded and open-minded. Li Jinhai waved his hand, and Han Qian and Wen Nuan left the ward. Going downstairs and getting in the car, Wen Nuan sighed softly. Hey. It's hard for my second uncle, too. If I really like Li Er's character, it's useless for anyone to say anything. Let's see what happens. We can't just leave it alone. Brother Ming and his sister-in-law are abroad, and we are the only juniors around. Hey. I have a headache. Suliang will get married the day after tomorrow. Just as a gift, Tong Yao's parents came over. I don't care about these things. I'm curious that you said you were going out to do errands that day, and then you hung out with Ji Jing for the whole day. What did you two do? It's not just the two of us, there's Guan Yunbiao as well. What can happen to Ji Jing's parents? Han Qian, you are such a busybody. Why do you care so much about other people's family affairs? After we get divorced, won't I still take care of you? Will I handle the affairs in your company? I'm different, I'm a creditor. Stop being a child, call Li Er and ask her where she is. Is there no one at home tonight? I can finally sleep peacefully. I found Li Duoli in the new Times Square. This guy was lying on a bench carelessly, with his head resting on the little girl's leg. Han Qian and Wen Nuan frowned at the same time. Han Qian stepped forward and put his foot in Li Duoli's body. The boy rolled to the ground, and the little girl was too frightened to move. Li Duoli, who was in pain, stood up and cursed through gritted teeth. Your mother, brother-in-law. How is your mother's health? I have always wanted to visit my aunt, but you have never let me go. Han Qian frowned and looked at Li Duoli, pointed at the girl who dared not move, and said with a frown. Who is she? What does it have to do with you? Where is the girl you brought home? She didn't learn well at a young age, but has she learned how to hook up with others? When she said this, Wen Nuan tilted her head and looked at Han Qian in confusion. She wondered where this guy got the courage to say such things. If Li Er is hooking up with others, then you, Han Qian, are no longer a fish farmer. Li Duoli squatted behind the chair and pointed at the little girl, smiling innocently. Brother-in-law, sister, you are talking about her. The tattoos are stickers and the hair is fake. I will see how my father reacts. If he accepts my choice, I will go on the path he arranges. Now I am fine. He doesn't respect me, and I will just be a traitor for once. Brother-in-law, please don't persuade me. Well, I won't advise you. I'll beat you up later. After finishing his words, Han Qian turned to look at the little girl, frowned and said coldly. Do you know Li Duoli's family background? His uncle is the head of the provincial military region. He has fought in real wars before. His father worked hard to be the top leader of the municipal bureau for a few years. His old uncle is from the Changxiang group. Shareholders, this thing is all about name and account. Are you sure you can do it? The little girl raised her head, stared at Han Qian with bright eyes, and said crisply. I can recommend you to Tsinghua University or Peking University. Damn it! Li Duoli also picked up a treasure? Han Qian turned his head to look at Wen Nuan and curled his lips. A good man doesn't have a good wife, and a good girl gets married twice. There's nothing wrong with the saying. Nuan frowned and said doubtfully. Are you Erbai? Warmth, I am a cute, and charming little phoenix. Han Qian, no, you are the second one. You voted if you think what you said is right. After the divorce, the ex-wife became a creditor. Author, A Huan. Chapter 521. This is a question worthy of careful consideration. Is Wen Nuan a good wife, or Han Qian is a bad wife? No one can explain this issue to them for the time being. Han Qian pursed his lips and said to Li Dole. You two sit together, and I'll take a picture and send it to your father. Don't think about competing with your father, or you'll be sent to the army. Your arms won't be able to twist your thighs. Li Duoli stood up and sat next to his girlfriend. His actions were obedient, but his mouth was puckered and he refused to admit defeat. The troops with tattoos don't want them. It doesn't matter. If you get a tattoo, I will throw you away to Dak Singanling to see the mountains and forests. Your little tricks are of no use to us. Li Duoli closed his eyes and sighed. The little girl on the side looked at Han Qian curiously. She and Li Duoli have known each other for a long time, and she already knew the temper and temperament of this playboy. Except for pornography, gambling, and drugs, there was no he doesn't get involved in anything. He smokes, fights, drinks and skips classes. I just like him. He's so handsome. But why does it feel like he is afraid of his brother-in-law? The little girl looked at Han Qian and frowned, then whispered after a long time. Brother-in-law, your Nokia doesn't seem to have a camera function. I know. I'm so warm, please take a picture and send it to my second aunt. Little girl, I have to make it clear to you that Li Duoli's character looks handsome in the eyes of you young people, but looks stupid in the eyes of us elders. There's no difference. Li Duoli covered his little girlfriend's ears and whined. Brother-in-law, I also need face. Do you want me to give you a slap? And this girl, Don't do whatever Li Duoli asks you to do. He is stupid and you are stupid too. If you are stupid, you won't be admitted to university. What conditions can you, conveyance? When Nuan hugged Han Qian's head and put it under his arm and dragged him away to prevent this guy from being embarrassed here. The second aunt had already shown the photo to Li Jinhai. The old man said that this was okay and asked Li Duoli to take the girl with him. Go to the hospital. Han Qian and Nuan were relieved. Slowly, the two of them changed from holding their arms around their necks to holding hands. When Nuan walked forward and shook Han Qian's arm, Han Qian was still struggling with the issue of escorting him. He asked in a low voice, and when Nuan replied lightly, "There are many reasons for recommendation. The first place in the mathematical Olympiad competition, the children of martyrs, and the children of national athletes may be recommended. But I heard from my aunt that this recommendation rule will be cancelled in a few years. Anyway, it has nothing to do with us. I didn't ask, and what's more, nowadays, young people fall in love and break up in the blink of an eye. It's not necessarily said that this little girl and Li Er will be able to be together in the future. Shouldn't we get divorced if we are so well matched? A good match? When did we become a good match? I'm a good girl, you're a bad girl. You're shameless, aren't you? What's so good about you? Is this waist thin? Are these legs long? Is this face pretty, these hips, this, forget it, they don't have my breasts." When Nuan's face turned grey, and the confidence he had just disappeared completely in an instant. Han Qian looked at the dejected girl and couldn't help but smile. "Actually, it's not that small. Don't always compete with Yan Qingqing. We stand out from the crowd. Let's go. Let's go eat and have barbecue." When she mentioned eating, Wen Nuan felt much better. She took Han Qian and ran all the way to her favorite barbecue restaurant. 4 pounds of barbecue. The two of them had just sat by the window when it began to rain lightly outside. Han Qian sighed with regret. "If I had known it would rain, we would have gone to eat hot pot. It would be great." When Nuan held the tongs and considered the pieces of meat, curling his lips and saying in disdain, "Okay, stop pretending. You don't like sesame paste, let alone hot pot. Eat it, don't be pretentious, and more. If it's still raining after dinner, you can go out in the rain yourself." "I won't go." "Eat, eat." When Nuan ordered a lot of messy things, mostly awful. "I don't know why this girl likes to eat these messy things." Han Qian basically couldn't take a bite, especially the large intestine, which was too greasy. Han Qian, who didn't drive today, ordered a bottle of beer, drank a glass and looked at the misty rain outside the window. Han Qian said softly, "I suddenly understand your idea of herding cattle. The pace of urban life is too fast. When you close your eyes after working every day, you have to repeat what you did yesterday when you open your eyes. It's a bit boring and a bit boring." Nuan replied without raising his head. "I herd cows because I'm lazy. There are some things at work that I don't understand. It's not because of the pace of life in the city. As for all your troubles, you brought them on yourself. If you didn't divorce me, there wouldn't be so many messy things at all. Son, on the other hand, if you don't get divorced, I won't feel that I like you. How about eating a piece of intestine? How delicious. Don't eat. Don't ever say that I'm a picky eater in the future. You won't eat any of my heart, liver, sausages, crabs, or sea cucumbers. You'll say that abalone looks like rubber. In fact, you're a pickier eater than anyone else." Han Qian shrugged, neither refuting nor making excuses. What he said in warmth was right. After the meal, Han Qian didn't eat much. When Nuan couldn't walk anymore. When he went out, the rain outside had stopped. When Nuan patted his bulging belly and held Han Qian's hand. "Ah! Han Qian, I ate too much. I feel like I'm going to become a fat man. I weigh 100 pounds now. It's better to be fatter. You're too thin to look good. Look at Cai King Hu, he's so skinny, he has no fat at all. Did you touch it with your hands? There was a threat in the warm eyes, but unfortunately it was not very lethal to Han Qian. Han Qian let go of the warm hand and hugged her waist, squeezed it gently, and said softly, "It's true that you are not thin." Nuan turned around and grabbed Han Qian's ears. Han Qian was immediately shocked and said in a row, I was wrong, not fat, you are not fat at all." Playing around, when Nuan seemed to be intentionally pulling Han Qian to prevent him from going home. He strolled here and looked there, and by the way, he bought some cosmetics and mailed them to Han Qian's hair. I bought a sky blue suit for Han Qian. The light blue felt good on Han Qian. He lost the gloominess of the past and had a little more sunshine. When Nuan pinched his chin and looked at Han Qian and said softly, "Not bad. You look very energetic. Just wear this look to be Tong Yao's boyfriend. We will settle everything together after your incident is over." Han Qian adjusted the cuffs and said softly, "You also want me to help teacher Tong, so why are you settling the score again? It's one thing to make you agree, it's another thing to settle accounts with you. As for you, don't even think about resisting. I've been very busy recently. Zhao Shanying has been asking me to do this and that. She gave me I've already got the things, and I'm going to ask Zhao Shanying to go to the Lin family tomorrow. I won't go to Suliang's wedding because I'm too lazy to see Yan Qingqing. I'll go back to my mother's place to stay at night, so you can go find Suliang." Han Qian tilted his head and looked at Wen Nuan and asked softly, "Why are you so sensible today? Are you looking for a beating? Get out of here. I'll pay the bill and you can take a taxi." "Yes, but later." After the divorce, the ex-wife became a creditor. Author, Ahuan. Chapter 522. Li Li's home is in the suburbs, some distance away from Suliang's wedding room, and there are 2 groomsmen. They are still divorced. Han Qian, Guan Yunbiao. Han Qian only found out about De Gou's divorce today, but it was not unexpected. In his industry, divorce is safer for his family. Qianwan and Shanshan became Suliang's MCs. In Suliang's words, "Whether I understand the etiquette of marriage or not, the people close to me must be placed in an important position. This is respect for them." Suliang's decision aroused dissatisfaction among his relatives. Many elders who wanted to save face expressed what the 2 little girls knew. At 1 o'clock in the middle of the night, the new house was full of people. 2 young girls, Shanshan and Diqian'er, were organizing members of the general department to decorate the new house according to the rules on the internet. Han Qian and Guan Degu stood on the balcony and sighed helplessly as they watched the busy people. Why did the 2 girls turn this into a mess? Just when Guan Degu was about to call his wife to come and help, the savior came. Yang Lan in a white elegant dress came, followed by a dim-eyed Xiao Baibei and Xiao Yangqia, who was as excited as himself about getting married. Seeing this, Suliang put down what he was doing and trotted forward to hug Xiao Baibei, doting on him. "Drowned. My big darling, I miss you so much." Xiao Baibei hugged Suliang's neck and hummed, then fell asleep in his arms. Suliang sent Xiao Baibei to the second bedroom to rest. At this moment, Han Qian also came over and said softly, "Sister Yang, why are you here so early? The wedding is after 10 o'clock. Yang Ian's clothes should be said to be the best among all the women Han Qian knows. Wu Qingxi is inferior to Yang Ian's aesthetics and sense of fashion trends. This sister has attracted many people just by showing up in her new house." With human eyes, Yang Lan looked around the new house and sighed softly. "What I worried about is about the same. It's almost time. You 2 take Suliang to do it, he doesn't need to do his hair. Just change clothes and put on makeup and go pick up the team. Did you find the team yourself or hired it with money? Han Qian scratched his head and turned to look at Jianwan, then spoke to Yang Lan. I really don't know about this matter. It was arranged by Jianwan. I heard that Jianwan and Cai Qinghu contacted their supercar club at first, and then Director Qian intervened. Anyway, no matter what kind of car you drive, you are a human being. Remember to prepare breakfast, wedding cigarettes, and wedding candy for the driver of the wedding car. Not surprisingly, he is someone hired by Director Qian through his connections. He should be treated politely without spending any money. I understand. I'll ask Sulian Jun where she is. It would be fine if I didn't ask, but Suliang was confused and said in confusion. I don't know. Qianwan said that she can just leave these to her. The cigarettes are ready. In the drawer under the coffee table, there is a jade seal with red edges. Han Qian suddenly frowned. I think this cigarette is the hardest to smoke. Forget it. I'll buy some other cigarettes later. Are you ready? Sister Yang said we have to change clothes to pick up the wedding car. Let's go, let's go. I'll feel relieved when Sister Yang is here. After finishing speaking, Suliang shouted to Yang Lan. Sister, you can do whatever you want with the people at home. If there are too many people, let them go to the hotel to stay. My parents won't be here until tomorrow morning, so I'll leave first. The wedding seemed to be like this. When the three of them went downstairs together, Guandegu sighed softly, just like when he got married. He was so busy that he didn't know what he should do, like a puppet. Then Suliang asked. Qian'er, was this also the case when you married Vice President Wen? Before he finished speaking, Guandegu bumped Suliang with his shoulder and curled his lips. I want to call the Empress of the East Palace. It is said that the Empress of the East Palace will not come today. Brother Han. Han Qian ignored this guy. Suliang asked softly if the Empress of the West Palace was President Yan. Guandegu gave Suliang a look that said, you can teach me. Then Suliang asked Secretary Cai if she was the Empress of the Beigong. Guandegu suddenly frowned and said softly. There is no Nanbei Palace in the TV series I watched. This is a question worth studying. We can read historical records. Brother Su, you always hit the nail on the head. Brother Guan, you're welcome, let's encourage each other. Han Qian is really too lazy to deal with these two lunatics. Why is he always studying this stuff when he has nothing to do? When I think about my marriage, there was no wedding, so I just received a certificate and then the two of them went home. I remember that when Nuan didn't even speak to him after receiving the certificate on the wedding day. Han Qian suddenly became a little curious about what he would look like when he got married. Then an idea popped into his head, who would the bride be? Thinking about it, Han Qian became scared. When the elevator door opened, he didn't even realize that he was pushed out of the elevator by Suliang and Guandegu. Han Qian was still a little confused. According to the current situation, it seems a bit difficult to get married. He'll think about it when these girls lose interest in him. When getting in the car, Guandegu asked why he chose two divorced men as groomsmen. Suliang curled his lips and drove. Make you both envious. Guandegu smiled. If you are a man, you should get divorced. The next second he was slapped on the back of the head, and Han Qian, who was sitting in the back seat, said angrily. Teach me something good. The fleet was all BMW 730s, and the first car was a Maybach. Han Qian had heard of this car, but this was the first time he had seen it. The hands of the flower shop clerks were shaking when they were loading the flower trays. This thing scratched them, can't afford to pay. The young man driving the car didn't seem to be older than Han Qian. The car owners gathered together to chat and laugh, and Han Qian's Panamera didn't seem too cheap. Get married. Something unexpected happened during the bridesmaid quarrel. Han Qian and Wan Fang got into a fight. Wan Fang rode on Han Qian's back and grabbed his hair, saying angrily. Han Qian, you dog, I asked you to eat cucumbers, why did you bite my finger? Let me go, you blindfolded me, who knows where your fingers are? And what I eat is not cucumbers, but hot peppers and bitter melons. The people in the wedding room burst out laughing. Wu Sigwan laughed so hard that he couldn't stand up straight and said with a smile. Brother Qian, your life is not very good. Brother Guan eats lemons and watermelons, ha ha ha. Han Qian took off his blindfold, looked at the big dog who was having sex with Xian behind his back, and said angrily. It's not that I was unlucky, it was Wan Fang who did it on purpose. Han Qian, what did you call me? Old lady? You're done. If you don't say I love you in 5 languages, don't even think about taking this bride away today. The groom will pick up the bride, and I'll pick it up, but you're done. You two dear friends, you continue to fight. My brother takes the first step. Then Han Qian ran away with Wan Fang on his back. This made the cameraman and everyone present confused. Then the cameraman told the deputy recorder to hurry up and follow the shooting. This will also be shown to the bride and groom in the future. They picked up the bride and had fun for 2 hours. At 10 o'clock, the motorcade arrived at the hotel. It's time for everyone to quarrel and relatives gather around to watch the fun. As a gift. Keep a gift account. The members of the general department are very unified, with 1,000 yuan per person. In this era when an average of 300 and 500 is considered a big gift, 1,000 yuan is no longer a small amount. Lu Zhuolong has 2,000 and Yang Lan has 2,000. Qian Wan came during the ceremony, and she took 8,888 with her, some odd and some complete. Han Qian never left, leaving it to the bridesmaids and Guan Dagu to take care of themselves. Not long after, an acquaintance came. Yan Qingqing came with Qian Ling and Ji Jing. Han Qian quickly stepped forward to greet her. Qian Ling said with a smile. I haven't reached the point where I can't walk yet. This kid, Xiao Liang, saved me a lot of trouble and took good care of Wan Wan. I must come over when he gets married today. Otto will give you the money later. Come here, just write the gift account for me. Han Qian chuckled. And, how much have you prepared? Is it enough to share with me? Qian Ling reached out and pinched Han Qian's cheek, narrowing her eyes and smiling. I know you don't have any money, so I prepared everything for you. Next time you don't have any money, don't always go to Ching Ching. They want nuan. You're a big man. It's not like you don't have an elder by your side. Hey, that's a good feeling. Okay, leave us alone. I saw Lu Guangming's GL8 when I came here. There are a lot of people coming to the wedding today. There are many strange faces coming for you, so be careful. Yeah, I remember. I didn't have time to check, so I went to the next chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the divorce, the ex-wife became a creditor. Author, Ahuan. Chapter 523. Brother Han, this is your fault. You didn't notify me of Brother Xiaosu's wedding. I want to pick on you. Lu Guangming has a loud voice. He was afraid that others would not know that he had the same relationship with Han Qian. Han Qian walked forward with a smile and said with a smile. Suliang is worried that you are too busy, brother, and don't have the nerve to contact you. I'll pour him a few more drinks later when he's toasting. Lu Guangming chuckled. It's okay to drink wine on weekdays, but not today. The groom has to enter the bridal chamber. Last time, I had some trouble with Brother Xiaosu. I feel bad about it. I must come to follow this gift. While he was talking, his new love took out 10,000 yuan from his bag and put it on the gift table, claiming to be a follower of the Shuncheng group. Lu Guangming looked at the people coming and going in the hotel, lowered his voice and said softly, "Brother Han, there is something I want to tell you. Let's talk about private matters as a joke. Are brothers Xiao Su really willing to live in the smoky glory nest for the rest of their lives? Although I have no glory in Shuncheng, the scale of Changzi is majestic. But I am the one who calls the shots here, Lu Guangming. Regardless of how much development Brother Su will have in the future, his income can be stable, and I can give Wang Kai's position to Sul Yang. The temptation of the vice president position. The old guy Lu Guangming has a good grasp of people's hearts. If Han Qian considers himself, he will definitely let Sul Yang stay in glory. Otherwise, he will let him go to Shuncheng. I'm talking. If he chooses the former, Han Qian will no longer regard Sul Yang as his brother in his heart. When Han Qian hesitated, Lu Guangming said, "Half of the people who came to follow Sul Yang today are here for you. If Sul Yang has no ambitions, it goes without saying. What if he does? Regardless of ambitions, a man's self-esteem and self-confidence, he is willing to always be. Do you take care of me?" Brother Han, brotherly feelings change when interests and dignity are mixed with them. After saying what was necessary, Lu Guangming left with a smile. The old guy still didn't forget to poach Sul Yang away. After the last incident at the bar, Lu Guangming discovered that Han Qian's best friend in the city was the Sul Yang. Not to mention how much help he could get from Han Qian if Sul Yang left, at least the roads in the city would be wider. The old guy's words made Han Qian feel uncomfortable. When he met an acquaintance from the company, he said a perfunctory hello, while he was thinking about whether he should ask Sul Yang to change his job. What's the better way to speak? When he was struggling, his shoulders were suddenly hugged, and Sul Yang, who was covered in sweat, laughed. "What are you doing standing around here? Go in and find a place to rest. You've been busy all night." Han Qian shook his head gently and sighed. This old guy Lu Guangming said something that made me feel uncomfortable. It's just a matter of where I go to work. Li Li's father has told me a long time ago and asked me what my future plans are. I don't have any ambitions. With you and De Qian by my side, I can just be happy for the rest of my life. I'll take care of it if you have something to do, and I'll ask you to help me if I have something to do. That's good. You really don't want to become powerful. Two people who are too similar can't be brothers. It's good for you to work harder and for me to be more relaxed. Sul Yang's IQ and EQ were both high. Lu Guangming had just said a few words to him, and after listening to Han Qian's answer, he almost guessed it. During the chat, Cai King Hu came. Sul Yang smiled and turned around. "Leave and don't be this light bulb." The wedding went smoothly, but Han Qian was a little uncomfortable. The tables were all occupied by women. Han Qian was stopped several times when he wanted to change tables. Sul Yang started to toast. Qian Wan didn't care about etiquette or other people's eyes. She took out wads of banknotes from her bag and placed them on the table. There were about 300,000 or 400,000, and Han Qian's share was brought at 2. Qian Wan's behavior immediately aroused the attention of the hotel people. Lu Guangming said with a smile. "Sister Qian, your niece is still so lively and cheerful." Qian Ling narrowed her eyes and smiled lightly. "Don't be polite, Director Lu. This child, Qian Wan, has been spoiled by me. She must behave politely. If she offends Director Lu in the future, please don't be the same as her for Han Qian's sake." "Oh. Brother Han's face, Mr. Qian, you and Han Qian. Count me as half a son. Then I'm going to teach you how to call Aunt Qian, ha ha ha. Don't worry, just speak up if you can be useful in the future." "Thank you very much, Mr. Lu. I am a second-rate person who grows flowers and vegetables every day. However, there have been a lot of bed bugs recently, which is a bit of an eyesore." I thought I would come over to attend a wedding to relax my mood. Lu Guangming's heart skipped a beat after hearing this. Is Qianling ringing a bell for herself? Not long ago, there were a series of car accidents that resulted in the death of someone. Each time, they paid compensation. Could this be Qianling's doing? He turned around and glanced at the black bodyguard sitting next to Qianling. In a car accident not long ago, it seemed that a black man's fatigue driving killed 2 men. Is this guy? Lu Guangming took a deep breath and whispered. Who do you think is putting these bugs? I'll take care of them. Qianling looked at the busy table in the distance and said calmly. You can't guess, and you don't need to guess. There are only a few people in the city who dare to take action. It's tiring to guess. I feel that Tu Xiao has been a little too comfortable recently. He only eats without vomiting. This is not a good person. We have time together. Let's meet and chat. I'm very satisfied with Suliang's child. What does Director Lu think? Brother Xiao Su is a talent. Qianling shook her head after hearing this. Water with fish is living water. If Suliang, a child, leaves Han Qian, he will lose his confidence and ambition. Han Qian will also have many constraints if he loses Suliang, a helper. I will give Suliang his future path. Mr. Lu understands that the meaning of. Lu Guangming took a deep breath and said softly. I see. Director Lu is a smart man, but what you do is the opposite of Qian'er. I have already lost 2 sons, and I care more about Qian'er. Director Lu, please don't blame me, an old woman. What are you talking about? Now I am a brother of Brother Han. Not to mention what I have experienced, I am still a little wary of Brother Han. His plans are always laid out quietly to poach Suliang. I also want to give myself a talisman. It's not necessary. Qian'er's character is simple. If you are good to him, he will be good to you, and if you are not good to him, then he may still be very good to you, but it's just superficial. I like this kid very much. I'm going to take some time to meet his parents. If you can, give me a chance. Brother Han's help to me cannot be measured by money, Director Qian. I want to ask a casual question, which one is his real girlfriend? When this question was asked, Qianling slapped her forehead. Don't ask me, I don't know. After the divorce, the ex-wife became a creditor. Author, Ahuan. Chapter 524. The most noisy table was the people from the General Department and the Public Relations Department. Shuashuo, who was too frightened by Han Qian to go to work, didn't dare to come. As Qian Wan's younger sister, she could joke about whatever she wanted. 2 bottles of Zhangzhoubai were placed on the table. On the table, next to it are stacks of banknotes. De Qian'er explained with a smile. 100,000 is the gift money I will give to my future sister-in-law. You are my brother and I am from my in-law's family. I can afford this money and I have reasons to do so. After finishing his words, Han Qian continued. This 100,000 is the insurance money I will give to my future eldest nephew. I am always a little worried about you 2 parents. Qian Wan said again. The 100,000 yuan here is money for milk powder and diapers after my eldest nephew is born. More or less money is what Han Qian and I want. The last 50,000 yuan is a compensation for you 2. Unfortunately, you 2 will not have time for your honeymoon. You will go to work at dawn on Monday to prepare for the real estate project. The Liancheng team will continue to be busy. You are getting married. I won't talk about this anymore. You contact Yu Shisai on Monday, so what, you find a plastic bag and put the money in it. Suliang smiled bitterly. Why do I feel like you are throwing away garbage? You just put so much money in a plastic bag? I'm going to find a bag. I won't be polite to you 2 rich people. I'm short of money. As soon as Suliang and Li Li left, his father-in-law and mother-in-law came over. Han Qian smiled at this, got up and went to Qianling to say hello, and chatted with Qianling for a while. When he turned back, he found that Cai Qinghu was missing. The girl suddenly, where did he go? At the train station, Cai Qinghu stood beside the car and said softly, "Hello, uncles and aunties, I am Mr. Han's secretary. My surname is Cai. Just call me Xiao Cai. Mr. Han is in a meeting and can't get away. He asked me to come and pick you up first." This. The father's eyes were confused when he looked at Cai Qinghu. This little girl's dress, temperament, appearance, and conversation were all on a higher level than his own girl. Is this a secretary? There must be something wrong with that Han Qian. He doesn't like such a beautiful secretary, but he likes this stubborn little girl of his own. The child's mother's ideas are completely different from those of the child's father. Is this girl a secretary? He is quite tall, but his facial features look too cold, and his speech is weird. He is nowhere compared to his own daughter. Han Qian has a good eye and can discover the inner beauty of his own girl. As for Tong Yao's younger brother, she has been basically ignored. He is sitting in a wheelchair wearing a hat and a scarf, and it is inconvenient to talk. Tong Yao didn't say a word, and she was also confused at this moment. How did Cai Qinghu know that her parents would get off the bus at this time? Why did she suddenly come over and kindly help? While I was grateful, I was also a little worried and confused about whether I should tell my parents directly. Another point is that Tanjio is worried that her parents will ask Han Qian for money. Now she can no longer pay off what she owes Han Qian, and there is nothing left to give him. Tong Yao sat in the back, sandwiching her younger brother with her mother. Tong's father intentionally or unintentionally inquired about Han Qian's news, and Cai Qinghu calmly introduced Han Qian's work. Cai Qinghu, one of the shareholders of Honor Group and currently the general manager of Honor Group, drove all the way to Han Qian's home with his parents and children. The security guard at the door saluted Cai Qinghu and said, "Welcome home." The nursery rhyme is confusing. Does this house belong to Han Qian? When he arrived at the door of his house, Cai Qinghu chuckled softly. "Miss Tong, please open the door." Nursery rhyme replied blankly. "I don't have the key." "Miss Tong, you are really good at joking. The password for the combination lock is your birthday." Nursery rhyme said, "Oh," opened the door and walked into the room. Then, regardless of her parents, she stretched out her hand and pulled Cai Qinghu into the bedroom inside, saying anxiously, "What's going on? What's going on with this house? Qinghu, I know you're doing it for my own good, but this house must cost a lot of money." Cai Qinghu narrowed his eyes and smiled. "It doesn't cost anything. This is Han Qian's house originally. It's just that I bought it. He doesn't know yet. When Han Qian and I get married, we will live here. Han Qian and I are upstairs. Downstairs are my father-in-law and mother-in-law, the whole family is enjoying themselves, it's so good." After hearing the nursery rhyme, she frowned and sighed. "Although what you said is very good and I support you very much, but I feel a little difficult." "It's okay. Good things come in a long way. Otherwise, I don't know what to do with a lot of money. I have saved enough to buy a house. Han Qian may have to chat with Director Qian and Lu Guangming at the wedding. I didn't have any money last night. I was a little worried about him, so I didn't let him come over." Tong Yao tilted her head and looked at Cai Qinghu, saying very seriously, "Qinghu, you like Han Qian very much. I can also see that Han Qian is very kind to you, but I don't understand. I asked Han Qian to pretend to be my boyfriend to deal with my parents. This is very harmful to you. Why are you still helping me like this?" Cai Qinghu looked out the window and said softly, "Why are I helping you? I don't know. Maybe it's because I didn't have the chance to take Han Qian to meet my father, so I really want to see him meet the girl's parents. You can watch Han Jian go to meet Nuan's parents. Do you think Wen Nuan will let me see it? She is now a seasoned duck with a tough mouth. In fact, she is surrounded by a sense of crisis. I guess with Li Jinhe's character, he will compare me with him after seeing me. What's the point of warmth? Can you compare to me? Looking at Cai Qinghu's confident look, Tan Jiao didn't know what to say. In fact, the two of them were just about the same, and no one was much better than the other. Anyway, Tan Jiao didn't know why Cai Qinghu wanted to help her, and she didn't think about that much. I hope that I can get through this difficult time, and after delaying it for a year and a half before telling my parents that we broke up, the matter will be resolved. At this time, Han Jian really forgot about this matter and fell asleep lying in the car. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Nuan called Han Jian and asked Han Jian how things were going. Han Jian, who was sleepy, asked, "What's the matter? The marriage is over and there's nothing else to do. I'm going home now. I'm so sleepy." "Go home? Have you met nursery rhymes parents?" "What kind of nursery rhymes are you talking about, parents? Damn it, I'm so sleepy, I forgot about this." "Busy man, please wish yourself well. This time, Tanjao's parents are here to see you and to show Tanjao's brother the plastic surgery. The burns on the child's face are very serious, so you must go home at night." "Oh, what should I do now?" "Ask nursery rhyme, now she is your girlfriend." The girl hung up the phone, and Han Jian forgot to glance out the window. What parents don't have parents anymore? Go to bed first. When he woke up again, it was already dark outside, and there was no call on his cell phone. Could it be that he had also forgotten the nursery rhyme? He took out his phone and called nursery rhyme, but it turned out that the monster was sleeping too. "Wei Han Jian, you're done, I'm too sleepy. I don't want to talk or move. Don't come over. Let's talk tomorrow morning." Han Jian asked softly. "How are your uncle and aunt?" "Qinghu took us out to eat in the evening. We are tired from driving all day. We have gone to bed now. Just come over and say a few words tomorrow morning." "Oh, where should I find you?" "I don't know where I am, ask Qinghu, I'm sleepy, bye." The monster hung up the phone after he finished speaking. Han Jian stared at the phone for a long time, then opened the car door and got out of the car and smoked a cigarette. 4 big words appeared in his mind. Where to go? I've slept too much, and I can't fall asleep now. What should I do? Guandegu has also been tired for a day, Suliang can't get out, and Jianwan is probably catching up on his sleep. Bored, Han Jian found a number and dialed it. "Come on, let's compare notes." "Crazy, I'm filming and I don't have time to talk to you. If you have time, come to the capital and give me some guidance. Bye bye." Looking at the phone, Han Jian really didn't know who to go to. Once Han Jian felt bored, he would do some unusual things. He couldn't think of anyone to call. Han Jian dialed an overseas number. Naturally, the call was not connected. After a while, the call came. After returning, the city bureau instantly entered a state of tension. "Crooked. Feng Lun, please surrender. Don't mess with me if you're humming sick. I'm busy now." "What are you doing?" "Idiot, I'm a prostitute. You have to pay attention to safety and don't get sick. When I catch you, I'll have to wear a gas mask. Get the hum out of here." The phone was hung up, and Han Jian still felt bored. What to do? Life was too stable, and Han Jian was still a little uncomfortable without the danger. When Han Jian was about to go home, his phone rang, and it was Yan Qingqing calling. At this time, he really didn't dare to call Empress Yasha. I answered the call after hesitating for a long time. "Yan." "Han Jian, Something happened, my parents are here. Just come. No matter how big the problem is, I'll handle your work. No, they want to see you.